guys, what's going on? Third Street Reactions here. We're back with Shane.
Zach.
We're back with Star Wars: The Clone Wars. We're on episode 101. Zach, last time we had the closure of that arc of the droid Colonel Gaskin and R2.
Gaston, yeah.
We had the brave, noble act of that B7 or B6.
We couldn't
Yeah, they get lost in hyperspace, which we're going by two different fictional accounts here. I think in Cowboy Bebop, if you're lost in hyperspace, you stay in hyperspace.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like that in Star Wars because there's been like accidents in hyperspace where like something will happen in hyperspace and then like
the debris
will like annihilate a whole.
Well, I feel
like system.
Hyperspace and the actual scientific laws, like theories, because what happened in Cowboy Bebop was the episode we were talking about with the mother and that little eco-terrorist group.
Well, to be honest, actually, I don't know if they're different because the hyperspacing when it happened, I think the debris, I don't think it slowed down. I think the debris just hit everything at the speed of light. So I think you're right. We also had one of, I don't want to say one of the coolest scenes. I mean, but like we had a very impactful scene when they blew up the Radion, right? Right on.
Like the Pokemon?
Kind of like the Pokemon, yeah. And it was like this unique explosion. And
Rhydonium.
And what's it called? Hyperspace fuel. It's from this specific element that needs refined. Because in Solo they talk about it. Because it's very unstable. But it's like...
Yeah. I know what you're talking about and I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of it right now.
That type of explosion that we saw in Solo that was so cool. It happened in It happened in Star Wars. The Clone Wars first is that big explosion, and then it sucks everything in because it's like
like an implosion.
It's like the gravity's collapsing or something. Or it was like
implosion.
Yeah, and we had those colors and stuff. That was really cool. I love Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're powerful. But if their ship got blasted with debris, they'd be done. Yeah. So it was a very human thing. They're all fucking ducking, and it's like, oh man, this is to me like you don't have. Well, you do now. You do in the books.
Some moments like that, like when he's talking about R2 and trying to find him and shit like it. Some moments are a little more meaningful for me than others in terms of the way they've humanized Darth Vader over the years.
Yeah,
because to me, like my Vader in my point in my life where he was at his prime, he was just this badass. And
like episode 5.
Yeah, he has a past with Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
he has a past with things, but like when they started like incorporating all that other shit, to me, it's like okay, I don't need as much to be Darth Vader. I don't need him to be this sad story. But I feel like that's storytelling the way it's advanced to a certain point at this point in time in life. And I feel like it's bad storytelling. I
mean, my favorite version of Vader is, I don't know, it's hard to... I don't know. But my favorite version of Anakin, to me, Hayden's Anakin. But I think the Clone Wars cartoon is just like an amazing tale. Just seeing them in their prime, and he's actually a good guy. He's actually not just a good guy, he's an adequate, caring person. You know, with like good dialogue with Padme. That's not like because I'm so in love with you. Yeah. You know, and like I imagine like Hayden and Natalie because you see them in really good things, especially Natalie Portman. You know, and they're like, oh god. But like you said, I like that moment too. When he gets serious, it's always cool.
Yeah.
He had to interrogate. I think it was Pog the Lesser.
Mm-hmm. Just choking him.
Yeah, he says, "Leave us." The door closes. Mm-hmm. And just like when you get Anakin in the Clone Wars, he's like this great man and soldier and loving husband and everything. But then when he goes dark when he needs to serve a purpose, like I can get behind that. Yeah. But then when he does the things he does, can't get behind that. But then when he's cool, when he's a bad guy and he's cool, I can get behind that bad guy. Yeah. Just not the man who did those things. Yeah.
So he's a lot more like in terms of more machine now than man, but you're getting behind an idea of a cool archetype in the film.
Well, and it's just someone who did terrible things for a good reason, and now he's just this evil thing lost he's second in control of the entire galaxy. It probably doesn't mean much to him.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just going through the motions.
Yeah. So it's just, kind of Star Wars rant there, but we are in Star Wars. Usually we go on different rants. Anyways, guys, so that was the end of that arc, and it was decent. I never saw it, but it was cool to watch. I think it was fun. Now I do know about this next episode. And it's just more Star Wars goodery, in my opinion. Guys, before we jump in, if you want to support us, we have the Patreon. We have 4-week early access. We also have full-length uncut reactions. We have multiple movies and stuff over there, full-length. And the Dragon Ball Super movie that I fucking loved. Because we can't put that on YouTube, that's on there. The YouTube reaction that would be on YouTube is on there. It's for free for everyone. But this isn't. So go over there if you want to support us. Let's jump in.
Yellow again.
Yep, yellow again. You know, I just don't like yellow. I just come to, because it's... I don't think so. sounds good.
Yeah, but no.
It's just like, we talk about, if I'm a good person, I can beat 100 people. Come on.
With a safety droid, a big helmet.
He just kind of look like a safety droid. Some kind of... Oh, they're the police officer ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fan out. I want to scan the entire perimeter. SD-357, have you found anyone in the South Passage?
It was real cool to see them in the Mandalorian, dude. In that Coruscant episode.
Where are you?
They're all kind of the way...
Intruders. You are trespassing on intergalactic.
Look, brother, a fortune.
True fortune will be the demise of Kenobi.
Credit chips are meaningless without a plan to survive.
The Jedi are hunting us. We will be forced to make a stand. To continue, we need one singular vision. My vision.
Brother, let us share our strength. There is no need for dominance between us.
Always two there are, my brother. A master and an apprentice. And you are the apprentice.
That's a cool move.
You have grown so powerful.
And I shall complete your training. Not as your brother, but as your master.
Kind of a dick, but I get it.
I understand, obviously, the dark side relationship kind of has to function that way. If people are going to have that dark ideology, they have to.
It is close enough to the Earth.
But it's important to see how that relationship keeps going, I should say. So you should remember that dialogue and how they grow.
They ought to be flush. Chips were all unlocked. No way to trace them. All done by the two crabbiest cybrags this side of the hide-in. What were they? A couple of Jedi gone rogue or something?
They're not Jedi. They are Sith, and we need to find them before they strike again.
Well, they took my cargo ship. The droid survivor said they heard something about the Surtar sector.
What is in the Surtar sector?
That's where Florum is.
You've been there? What can we expect?
Pirates.
Get me a read out on that ship.
There are life forms aboard.
And their communications.
Operational, but silenced.
Operation.
We'll kill any
Stop.
balls and take the ship.
Pure Sensata spices.
Hondo will be pleased. We drink tonight. Now find me those life forms. Jedi.
Do you want to live?
Yes, very badly.
We will make you rich.
Your skills and talents could serve us well. The choice is yours.
What kind of Jedi are you?
We are not Jedi. We are lords.
We work for Hondo. You ought to pay us really well to get us to betray him.
Money is of no object for men like us. You will have
It's pretty bold to say.
desire and more.
I'm tired of working for Hondo anyway. I'll call up a couple of the boys and see if they join us.
What's the smile? Not quite a smile.
Yeah.
A smirk.
I am certain Captain Hondo will never throw in with you.
Hondo's base will soon be ours, and he will not survive this unless he embraces the same choice I give you now.
I'm in.
So am I.
I am not sure. Let's see what Hondo says about that.
3 of your lieutenants have already sworn allegiance to me.
3.
Traitors.
Scum!
There is a penalty for resistance.
Let me warn you. You are not the first laser sword-wielding maniac I've had to deal with.
Maniac.
And Hondo Maka survives every time.
I'm not sure the pirate Hondo would have an alliance with Maul and his brother.
So you know this Hondo personally?
Unfortunately, yes.
Jedi contacting you. Says his name is Kenobi.
Kenobi? Ha! Put him through. Go, go, go.
Greetings, Hondo.
First, you lose this system, and Grievous comes in and destroys my entire stronghold, leaving me here to just rummage through the leftovers of my once great empire. Who are these horny-headed maniacs? They don't seem like normal Jedi.
Not Jedi, Hondo. Sith. We tracked them here.
A cargo vessel in 3 of your starships. They're heading towards you, Hondo.
More to the point. Are you going to help me when you get here?
There's nothing we can do about your men, but we can certainly do something about the Sith.
I'll deal with my men. You deal with those tattooed crazies.
Right.
Well, that settles it. Those traitors are no longer my men.
Pirates. Yeah, loyalty.
Found us.
He falls behind, gets left behind.
It's too soon. My plan isn't finished yet.
His legs definitely look just like that old comic.
Yeah.
Throwing in with pirates now. Oh, how the mighty Sith have fallen.
That's a good little block she did.
No. I have plans, Kenobi, and you will not stand in my way this time.
Looks like we're going to be taking on both of them at the same
Oh
time.
yeah. When, you know, every time Jedi, when someone gets killed, it's like that other Jedi is...
Kenobi, this way.
Could have used that. There's a few times you could have used that force jump.
Where are the rest of your men?
They are setting up an ambush. We can't use your help. Where is the other Jedi?
She's dead.
They are too powerful for even you. I am semi-speechless.
I shall draw the brothers away. Once that's done, blast the passageway closed.
And leave you alone with the 2 crazies? Yeah, okay.
Do not let them escape!
How easy does that happen? It's like you just put a hole. It's like you put a hole in it.
Surrender. We are 2, and you are no match for us both.
You are mistaken.
The Horned men aren't interested in helping you. They are only interested in Kenobi.
Finally.
Everyone, the Horned men's ship is filled with valuable goods. As your restored leader, I say we celebrate our reunification. To the landing pad!
I love this character.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get everything put in.
Come, my apprentice. This plan has failed, but we will have another opportunity.
Got some skin in the game, literally.
Quite.
Jiro, ready the men. We're leaving.
My men aren't going anywhere with you. Look at them. How powerful can they be?
You will pay for your insolence.
Insolence! We are pirates! We don't even know what that means! Open fire!
Rubber tub for pirates.
Yeah.
Their riches will be ours!
pretty quick action. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. He's very off fucking road.
Go around that fucker. Like, you know what I mean? I love these.
I was looking at fucking up their shit.
Yeah, just make.
Our engines have been compromised. Get to the escape pod.
It's too late.
Trust me, apprentice.
To be fair, Maul's can be fixed. You know?
Yeah, it's mechanical.
But you see how he kind of cried out in pain? But then again, Vader, like the Star Wars universe, they put in I can't remember what it's called, but hook it in your nervous system.
Yeah.
Let's get out there and see what riches have fallen from the sky for me and you.
Very well.
Push for tires.
I'm done. I'm gonna stay on this planet.
Well, if the condition of these goods is any indication, your friends have been vaporized.
I cut one of them in half once, and he survived.
Well, isn't that interesting?
I think we have closure on this matter, Master Kenobi.
I disagree, Chancellor. Everything we've learned from this is that the Sith are persistent. They will not die.
I understand your reservations, Master Kenobi. It does not appear this Darth Maul is a direct threat to the Republic. We need to redirect your efforts to the cause at hand, stopping Count Dooku and thus ending the Clone Wars.
Maul was trying to build an army of pirates.
So let him play with the rabble.
They're just petty crooks.
It is of no relevance to the Senate compared to the Separatist threat. Good day, gentlemen.
You see how kind of
something is stirring in the underworld. Crown families have had too much.
He's kind of a little more direct and impatient.
well, it's also like he can influence the Jedi,
Yeah.
saying hey, we're not going to use your resources. But
He has indeed survived.
A personal matter. This is for you. Clouded. Your judgment may be.
In time,
Really?
if he lives,
Is it really?
reveal himself again. Maul will. And
That
then,
mean?
swiftly,
really,
we shall act.
Is it really?
were they social distancing there? Everyone was sitting way far apart.
They were. It's a big room.
And if I was in a room with you, I wouldn't sit on the opposite side of it. So, I think this is the very first moment we see Palpatine and Sidious as the same person. I guess, I can't remember, what's his name, Masamada? There was some hinting one time. I think it was during the Zillo Beast arc. Maybe it wasn't Zillo Beast. Where he talks about the cogs of war spinning and having to adapt, and he kind of looks out the window. But that was the first time we saw him like sit there and give an evil smile. And it wasn't until the Revenge of the Sith movie where we actually see the two characters' personalities become one.
Yeah.
So we kind of see it here, which is kind of cool. So the brothers are reeling, and even Palpatine said, "Don't worry about them. Let them play in the rabble."
Yeah.
So why do you think Palpatine said that? And do you think
I think he
they
has
are going to
known-
continue to play in the rabble?
Well, I think now since he's known that Maul is still alive, he kind of like.
How do you think he feels about that?
I don't think he probably views Maul as. Like, Maul may not have been at the status where he poses a strategic threat.
Yeah.
Versus someone that's just going to meddle and be pissed off and someone you have to deal with later, but he's not the greater goal.
Yeah.
So to him, he's probably like, okay, well, yeah, he's a contender, but he's not.
Exactly. Not even a contender.
He's not that strong.
Well, kind of like the Witches of Death.
I have control. Yeah, like, I have control of both sides of the strongest forces.
Yeah.
In
The courts and the Senate and the Separatists.
Yeah, in this galaxy, I have the Clone Army, the Senate, and the Separatist Council, whatever the hell it's called. So I control both of those. Why would I be worried about this guy?
He's not worried.
Yeah.
So which is also just because we were talking about the Witches of Dathomir before. Why would Palpatine allow that to?
Yeah.
It's so
to
you
me though, I had in my mind that they had much more influence and power.
Well,
but
this Talzin is very powerful,
Yeah.
but it's just like Maul is more powerful than 99.9999% of the galaxy, but not more powerful than the Jedi, not more powerful than Sidious. You know, so it's just like you're a high player in a galactic level, but compared to the people at the top, you're the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's something very important. I think is they brought them back, and now they're just getting defeated. So do you think that could keep happening?
No, because you have Solo, where obviously Maul's in charge of.
It's not the Black Sun, is it?
It's not Black Sun. It's Crimson something.
Crimson Dawn.
Yeah, Crimson Dawn.
So it's just and to me that's not
a little gold. His bling.
Yeah.
The figure has the bling.
Who Darth Maul does?
Yeah. Like you have the Darth Maul Crimson Dawn version, which Hot Toys made from Solo.
Oh.
It's got this. He got this fucking bling necklace on. It's got that crescent logo looking thing.
Oh, okay.
It's like a bar with these little dashes out of it. It's like the upside down fucking something that Disney owns.
Okay.
Logo.
Well, what's interesting because in that movie you only see the hologram.
Yeah, you don't see the necklace.
But there's there's promotional shots of Ray Park in full getup, and he looks fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. Now I like the way it looks. Well, and to me that's not even his height. To me, Crimson Dawn is nothing compared to some of the stuff you see him get into.
Mm-hmm.
So just like, what do you think it's going to take for Palpatine to even like? If you're Palpatine though, would you just want to recruit Maul? Like, or do you think like, well, I already made plans. Dooku he's of higher value. He's obviously I got all his wealth. You know,
Yeah.
Maul is just literally an assassin.
I think that obviously as Palpatine, that he probably just feels like, okay, I've already used you. You're done.
Mm-hmm.
I have no further use for you.
It's a
Like,
common
that's
word.
the way I look at Palpatine. Like Palpatine can adapt
Mm-hmm.
if he sees a need for it, but if you've already been used and you're used up in his mind,
Yeah.
like there's no point. You are there,
Yeah.
but your use has been spent.
I guess my question is, and obviously we know what he was really thinking when he said this, but he said if he could be turned, he could be a powerful ally.
Yeah.
Now, Palpatine, I mean, he's kind of a stickler for the rule of two, but when it benefits him, I mean, he has people he's brought up that can be used as Force warriors, but they're not even close to the level that Vader and Palpatine are.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even though I know what he was thinking when he said that to Vader, do you think there's a part of him that feels like, well, if I could turn him and he could be useful, why not?
Yeah, but what part in the plan would he have? Is it really necessary to send an assassin after anybody in this galaxy at this point?
In this type of war,
It's not.
we don't always see assassins used too much, although Ventress, she's an assassin.
Yeah.
We don't see a lot of that stuff.
But my
carried
point
out
is,
in
like,
this
other
one.
than like turning people like that against each other, what is the point? Like you.
Yeah, because
there are no
good.
key players where
Yeah.
Palpatine feels like this person's a threat to my entire operation. To him, it's just like all this shit's going according to plan.
You're
With
right.
the exception of like a Zilla Beast getting out on the planet that no one can fucking stop, even if it's him. Like,
Well, you're right about that. The Sith operated in the shadows as assassins, and no one knew about them. They didn't even know the Sith were not extinct. Now we know they're here. So he doesn't have political power. He doesn't have any power. He's just some guy who survived, and he's half the man he was literally. So I think I just want to have that conversation because I think it's important because now we can see, well, does Maul grow? Why did they bring him back? So I think.
well, because he fucking was such a popular character in his time.
Well, you're right, but the story wise, like, what does he do? He has to do something, and he
Yeah.
hasn't done it yet. He just got his ass kicked
Yeah.
by pirates. Now, I will say, I liked all the action this episode, and I'm glad. Kenobi was great. I mean, the choreography was good.
Oh, yeah.
All of it was good.
Well, it goes back to the fact that Kenobi is probably
He's
the
the greatest
greatest
Sith killer.
Jedi
Yeah.
in terms of dealing with the Sith.
In terms of the
Like,
new
Yoda had like so many years of wisdom.
Yeah.
But in terms of direct confrontation with the Sith, Kenobi is the man.
Yoda lost. As far as I know, Yoda lost the only direct lightsaber to lightsaber confrontation that we've seen from Yoda, at least. Well, no, Dooku, I guess. But it was more like it wasn't a clear winner. It was more like
No, Dooku just was bailing.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have won if he stuck it out.
No,
eventually,
no.
like, that's why he was running. But
No.
he lost to Sidious. He didn't really. There was no clear cut advantage in the fight with Dooku. Mace, you had the fight with Sidious, and then everything with Anakin. It was kind of like a messy ordeal, kind of like with Dooku.
Yeah.
But in terms of a man that has to directly confront Sith, Kenobi.
Yeah. Oh, he's killed more than he. I mean, no.
He dealt with Maul. He fought Dooku. He lost to Dooku in a sense because he was taken out of the fight.
Both times, yeah, he didn't do well against Dooku. I mean, because it's just like I think maybe it's Dave Filoni. You talked about like Anakin, how well he did in Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Like at that point, Anakin is one of those power Jedi alive, but Dooku is a superior Force user still, and he's wiser.
Yeah,
and he's still a better lightsaber fighter up until he loses in Revenge of the Sith. But it's like when you're a complete MMA fighter, right? And then you get in a boxing ring. You're like, okay, or maybe and you put on the boxing gloves. You're not going to kick. You're not going to wrestle. And you're like, okay, let's do this. I will do this.
Just striking.
So he did that with Anakin. He's like, okay, I will fight you with the lightsaber, and he beat him. But he could have used the Force almost any time.
Yeah.
Like so, it was like Anakin. It's like, but it was almost like a flex on Dooku's part. Dooku loves to lightsaber fight. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
he's a master of it.
Yeah.
And
he was known for it in the Academy.
So it's interesting. Like when he fought Dooku, when he fought Yoda, he had to break out all the different things.
But in the book, in Master Over's book, he talked about how Dooku was so much older. Anakin was younger. He was stronger in terms of his.
Especially at that point.
When he was fighting, like his strikes were harder.
Yeah.
Like everything about him was more powerful, and Dooku was an aged man. Even though he was in really good shape for his age, he was an aged man.
Yeah.
So he
like
just
70 years in the books.
Was in his 80s.
Oh yeah.
So he was in his decline.
Yeah.
Physically.
Yeah.
As a human versus Anakin, who's in his prime.
Yeah, literally.
And Anakin was the chosen one.
Yeah.
He has everything going for him.
Yeah.
And at that point, he just reached, again, they have the dark side also he's tapping into.
Yeah.
So, Dooku is his race is run.
Yeah.
I like Christopher Lee a lot. That's why I like that character. But Anakin, that's why.
Well, at that point, but like Dooku, like, it's just interesting because going back to Maul, like, Maul, until he lost, he served his purpose so well, but like, like he was grooming Dooku while Maul was still there.
I remember because you had the series.
So it's just like at some point there was going to be.
When Qui-Gon and Maul died, Palpatine's like, we both lost something.
So it's interesting. Like at some point there was going to be overlap, but it's almost like just like with Vader, like it worked out for Palpatine. Maul died. I already.
What's the idea though? Is like when you look at characters like Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
How beneficial it would have been to the Jedi Order and the side of the light for Qui-Gon to have lived.
Yeah, because he would have been...
Because he wasn't there in terms of fighting.
Yeah.
But in terms of Force ability, like Force knowledge and wisdom.
Wisdom and
he was ahead
his ability to be like water.
Yeah, but he was even ahead of Yoda.
Yeah. Well, in terms of not being dogmatic, but yeah.
Yeah, but he was way ahead of Yoda in terms of his in being in tune with the Force.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit. So he was kind of the
it's
guy.
Almost like, especially since Revenge of the Sith, they've gone on to build Obi-Wan to be even greater as a master.
Yeah.
But a lot of people think, people high up in the creativity of Lucasfilm think, if Qui-Gon trained Anakin wouldn't have turned.
Yeah, he would.
And he might.
Because it's like if Cuss would have lived in Tyson,
wouldn't have turned.
He would have turned fucking the way he did. So if Cuss lived, if Qui-Gon.
Well, it's like he could have gotten married, and Qui-Gon would have kept it as a secret because he thought that
he understood.
So it's interesting because it's just weird because like I think Obi-Wan's the greatest Jedi, but like that was a failure.
Well, in terms of what the Jedi Order was when
he was the best version of that.
Yeah.
Except he can fight real well when he lived. Yeah. So
but he also gave himself up. Like he didn't lose to Vader. He just submitted.
Yeah.
So that's the coolest thing about him.
And he still went out like Michael Jordan or like a Marciana.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'll be more powerful than you anyway.
Yeah.
And like Vader was still struggling even after that.
Because Sith cannot have life after death, and Obi-Wan knew at that point because of his training with Qui-Gon that like, hey, I got this after I
got it in the bag, man.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll see it.
Yeah. So I guess to me like I love the action, I love the character of Maul. But I know at this point it's kind of like, well, he's just losing. But like they have a plan. I just want you to know, like right now, that's a low point. How'd you feel about obviously keeping with the consistency of the Dathomirian magic still?
You see the
even the robotics
of
Maul, it's being powered partly by Dathomirian. I'm sorry.
I didn't even think anything of it. I'm not a big fan. I prefer practical things over the magical things unless they're like one or the other.
Yeah.
When you intermix them, it's kind of like, well, why would a machine only work when it's powered by magic? I mean, the machine would be made by magic, whereas like, the magic could be ahead of its time in creating it, but why does the magic still have to be present to operate it?
Well, it's one of the things that I actually think is cool about the universe.
Other than the fact that
it's like Vader.
His guts, like, how did that shit heal? But he was already what he was when they found him. So.
Yeah. It was one thing I think that's interesting about the Dathomirian side of the Force. Like when Vader was made, he was technology. Like the Force couldn't save him. Mm-hmm. Like it kept him alive, but he probably would have died. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it took technology, a technological terror to turn him into Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Frankenstein's monster, essentially. Yeah. And no amount of power of the Sidious, especially like Darkseid, they don't heal well anyways. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I thought that's one thing I thought that was cool. It kind of puts a limit, and I will say, obviously, the Dathomirian people are nothing compared to what Palpatine does.
I know what you mean.
But I think it's interesting that it's different. Like something that they do that they figured out. Like something the Egyptians figured out that we don't know how to do, even though we're better than now. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool that there was something involved, and definitely with with Savage, he got his arm cut off too. We didn't talk about.
Yeah.
So they got screwed up bad.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They lost the fight.
They lost the fight. They had cool moments, though. And
they
actually,
lost the battle, but they didn't lose the war yet.
They didn't, yeah. I mean, they eventually lose the war.
Yeah, I know.
But also, the pirates, they just, all these guys, it reminded me of like a little kid's movie when they all came up against a bully. There's like too many of them. They had to run. Yeah. I thought that was funny. Though. Let's get them. There's like 50 of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, anyways, back into the non-droid stuff. I'm especially excited for you to see, I think, the next episode. But overall, you think this, Star Wars Rednecks, which I've confronted a lot in Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I'm at this planet, and they're like farming these things. They're like the replacement of horses. And they're really like hickish. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, well, it's just funny when Star Wars does that.
Well, they do that on one side or the other. The dumb guys are always the rednecks or the fucking Cockney guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's the people you always go to.
Yeah,
like we were talking about earlier, the bad guys are always the Russians, the German accents, and the English accent guys.
Yeah.
The fucking...
And then, like, the
dumb
good guys, except for Rey, they've all had American accents.
Yeah, but the dumb guys are always these redneck hick
guys.
Hell! Or... Hell, shit! I don't fucking know. They came on here and they took my droids and they said they had, they had red lightsabers.
I actually think that was so hilarious.
It was good, yeah. But my point though is that they always default to that. Everyone thinks that, which is funny because like rednecks, a lot of rednecks that I know anyway, family included, are like salt of the earth, like know as much as the Amish or more.
Well, it's funny.
Like, when society collapses,
they're gonna live.
They're the ones that are going to survive, and the people that are making fun of them are like, hey, I don't have any canned food. I can't go to the store. What are we going to do?
But you're right. They are kind of presented on a surface level in Star Wars as these dumbass rednecks.
You know? Yeah, they are. They're always just the assholes that are carrying the guns.
Yeah. But, I mean, in George, I think it says a lot about, like, in Episode 4 especially. We have these farmers out there.
Yeah, but Owen Lars ends up being... fucking badass once Joel Edgerton.
He's fucking awesome as Joel Edgerton.
I know.
He fights off the Tusken.
I know. So he becomes cool, so much cooler as Joel Edgerton.
And then he just gets killed by the stormtroopers. Yeah.
I know, but he's old.
Yeah, he's old. Yeah.
You know, there's only so much you can do once you're the point. Yeah. You can just be stubborn.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna fucking do it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, even Klieg, his dad, he went out there to fight the Tuskens, got his leg cut off.
I know.
I want to spin off of those people. These fucking rednecks and Tatooine.
Just fighting off Tuskens and dealing with Jawas.
Yeah. It's a pretty good episode, though.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It was good.
Anyway, so, I mean, we're kind of back in the fold of traditional...
What's his name played Maul's voice?
Sam Witwer.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the Master and Apprentice stuff?
I mean, I thought it was kind of like...
Well,
to me, it's like, come on, man.
It was petty to me.
Yeah, it was
petty.
But,
like, I mean, it's not inconsistent with Star Wars.
It's not, but to me, it's just...
It's like, come on, why you didn't do that? Like, you're cool.
I feel like it's just a bit soon to develop into that. He's all of a sudden, he's like, I'm fucking pissed.
Well, in terms of, like, I think, sophisticated storytelling, it was soon, in my opinion.
I mean, Phantom Menace, you know, the fight with Obi-Wan and Maul...
was incredible.
It was until Maul got cut in half.
Yes.
Well, Maul got cut in half.
That was over.
It was kind of dumb, is my point. Because, like, Maul just watched him.
You mean when Qui-Gon got stabbed?
No. When Obi-Wan flips up out of the tunnel.
Oh.
And Maul literally just watches him.
Well, how many cool deaths do you see in the theatrical Star Wars movies that are really, really cool?
What are you talking about? Dooku's death?
Like, no, that was the only cool one.
Anakin owned him.
That's the only cool one.
Fucking when Vader gets struck down by Luke.
But that's cool because of Vader. But like, it wasn't like a.
No, it's cool because Luke was just fucking beating his ass.
Oh,
and Vader's like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" and he gets his head cut off.
I thought you meant when he threw Palpatine over.
Well, that was cool too. But when Luke beats Vader.
I thought you were making a case that like the move wasn't cool.
It wasn't.
That's what I mean. Like,
it's like Maul, as great as a fighter as he is, just watches Obi-Wan just.
Well, you have this
there's like 5 seconds. He's like.
Well, you have a huge asymmetrical fighting system.
You could just
with,
watch him. Like,
no, yeah, like.
It's
just like
Obi-Wan. I mean, you could say Obi-Wan learned from that, so he did it to Anakin. But to me, it's
well, you know the move they had for Anakin and Obi-Wan, right? And they spent like a year fighting, like not like Hayden just wanted to get better, so he flew to Australia to work with these guys at his house, and they did all this shit before Lucas came onto the scene to watch it.
Yeah.
So the idea was the saber was on the ground, Obi-Wan's saber was, and Anakin was going to strike him down, and then he instinctively, he was behind Anakin or between his legs or something like that. He goes up to block Anakin's killing blow. He turns it on, it accidentally cuts off Anakin's leg and arm to do it. And like, I understand, like, to a common person, it might be hard to communicate that move. Like, because, you know, sometimes, and I remember when you were younger, I think I'm very good at this now. When you were younger, you were better than me for sure. You would be like, oh, this is what happened. Because you understood the language of the choreography. Sometimes I have to rewatch it. So maybe George thought it might not have been like, what the hell's going on so fast?
Well, Phantom Menace was definitely more geared towards children, kind of like Episode 6 with the Ewoks and shit. Like, there was a lot more shit that was meant towards younger audiences. Yeah. So to me, I get why that can pass.
But that's why I'm saying Revenge of the Sith had like one of the coolest finishers, and then we had the high ground thing, which, you know.
Well, my thing though is like it's at the end, the high thing.
You talk about when Maul got cut in half the way he did.
Yeah, Anakin and Obi-Wan was different because it's like Anakin's hubris. Yeah. Versus Maul literally just watching this guy jump out of this pit and like, oh hey, what are you doing, man?
Hello there.
Oh no. Oh, I'm dead. I didn't block anything. Yeah. I didn't strike at anything. I didn't do anything. I just watched you jump out of this pit.
I think because he was so shot. I can't believe this motherfucker's doing this.
I know, but you can do something.
I can't believe this motherfucker is. And then I think he's cut in half before Obi-Wan even.
No, he lands and then strikes.
Okay.
Like you see him land, you see the light. He goes, and Maul's like, oh, and then he falls off. But to me, it's like, come on, man. I get why they did it, but to me, it was weak.
It wasn't a great finisher for sure. But
it wasn't. No, it wasn't that it was great or not great because it worked well cinematically. But to me, it was not very clever.
You talk about why would Maul such a great warrior be fooled like that?
It was not clever.
I agree.
It wasn't.
Well, I will say that it does haunt Darth Maul. The new canon, when we got like how Darth Maul feels about it, he hates that he went out like a little punk. Yeah. And he does learn from that move. And Obi-Wan also learns from. He learns too. Is all I'm gonna say. Yeah. But okay, so I know we both clearly remember these lightsaber fights, and this is a while from now. I want you to remember that stuff because later, those things are important. Like the legacy of how fights end is important, and it's something that is in the consciousness of the creative. You can't change how Darth Maul the way it went happen, but they use it. They utilize it. Mm-hmm. They utilize things from the Phantom Menace fight later on, where it's like, oh shit.
But it's still probably the greatest lightsaber duel we have.
It is. I think it is because
I think Duel of Fates compared to Anakin Obi-Wan on Mustafar, that was a high intensity fight, but it did not have the impact on our lives in our childhood the way that Duel of Fates did.
That's what I was gonna say. I think Duel of Fates is greater because they built the language because 2 and 3 have more complex moves. Yeah. And Giller didn't think he can do some of the stuff, like I can't make something as cool as double bladed. Like it's just not it's just not as complex. You can. Mm-hmm. But then Ray Park, when he was doing some of his moves Obi-Wan, they built on that for 2 and 3, and they made some incredible things. Yeah. But Ray Park, his performance as a master wushu master is evident with his footwork, and they can back that. I mean, Anakin Hayden.
In terms of Darth Maul's appearance, how fucking cool he looks.
He's like the coolest looking thing I've ever seen in my life.
When he first came on a trailer for that fucking movie, it was the coolest fucking thing ever. Yeah. I will never say any different. Yeah. That fucking trailer with him and how cool he looked with us as kids. Yeah. That was the coolest fucking thing ever. Yeah. The Duel of Fates with fucking Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, Ray Park, is probably the greatest lightsaber duel we've ever had. Not in terms of all the complexity, but because of
you're talking about moments, better versus greater. Yeah, yeah, great. I think
the moments and everything it made it, the music.
Yeah, I think the greatness, just like 5 is a better duel than 6, but 6 I think is greater. Yeah, yeah. Well, you can argue that 5, like with the hand getting cut off, and that revelation might be greater actually. So.
Well, in terms of the people that lived at that time, that's going to be argued at some point.
Everyone argues for their era.
Phantom, but that's the thing. Like the Duel of Fates, that was our kind of
that we grew up then.
That was our moment.
Yeah, that was our moment. Yeah,
because we already knew that Anakin was better. Yeah. We already knew like a lot of that shit. But Duel of Fates was like, holy shit, this is badass.
Well, it's like the Sith are back, and this is how good that they were before all the knowledge was lost. Yeah. And then Obi-Wan was just an old guy teaching Luke, and Luke had to be essentially self-taught. Yeah. So it
set a bar.
It did, yeah.
And the people that grew up when Vader disclosed that he was the father.
Well,
and I'm really different time because you had to wait so long before you got any more of the story.
Yeah, there's no trailers and nothing. Like Hayden Christensen interview, because he was with Diego Luna. They did an actors on actors, like 1 hour YouTube video just talking about acting and their Star Wars experience. And he just said, like, Hayden's like, yeah, I don't watch trailers anymore. Like, nowadays people need to, like, to know, like, oh, we're making 10 movies and there's going to be a universe. Like, they need to know that instead of being surprised. Because a lot of it has to do with investors. Like, well, if you don't tell us the plan, we're not going to give you money and your movie's not going to get made. So it's kind of like a different beast than it was. Back then, they were just more surprised because of the industry was different, you know. I think you're right. I think it's the greatest. It's so good. But I think they capture the greatness of that here. And I know you know a little bit. Ray Park, it does some work later on in the Star Wars universe for the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. And it's mocapped. So it's legit him. And it's a beautiful thing. The only thing you can say is like, well, it's slightly not as fast as it is when they're not using a real person. Yeah. But to me, the payoff is, it's a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. We talk about this forever, man. Like, we got more to do. Guys, we're talking for a while. We appreciate you watching us. And if you want to support us, just leave a comment at the bottom, or you can go to our Patreon. We're out of here.